Alright, I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders who greet meals on rule well. Peace and blessings to the elect, pushing the truth across the four corners, and those that listen sincerely to the truth. Shalom. This is Brother Malachi. This is part 2 on the video series discussing about Pastor Darby. Now, this is after I looked into him a little bit. So, I'm going to start out with 2 Timothy 2 and 15 on down. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. So, Pastor Darby, the man, he knew a few things. Like, he knew that tribulation was coming to Jacob, and he understood that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are Israelites. But he was off on a bunch of things that people in the world get stuck up on typically. Like, he doesn't understand that the fallen were Israelites when he went off, and that we had children with the heathen nations way back then. Like, he doesn't understand that because he got his breakdown from someone in the world. He thinks it's just some hidden race, but no, it was from Israelites. I think it was before we were called Israelites, mingling with the heathen nations. That's all that is. I think Nephilim, that's what you stuck up on. Yeah, I think that's, he doesn't understand that. Didn't have it properly broken down to him. Even though he had zeal, it wasn't according to knowledge. Now I'm going to get Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 17. They that fear the Lord prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord, and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy. So, this Pastor Darby, he was taken away to the spirit world. Now, it could have been the Most High having mercy on him, because he knew he was going off. The Most High knew Pastor Darby was going off. And he knew that he had zeal, but it just wasn't according to knowledge, to the truth, the whole truth. And he was doing more harm than good, but wouldn't get that it was better off learning from the elders of Great Millstone that have been studying far longer than he has, and still at it, going strong. It would have been more than likely not would have already have breakdowns on the stuff he was having trouble understanding. If not, one of the other brothers could have broken down for him if he would have reached out. But no, he decided to do his own thing, keep the Jason's congregation, breaking commandments, shaving his beard off, and all kinds of shit. That was all according to the scriptures. Probably eating pork still too. But hey man, it's just the will of the Heavenly Father. Now, that was him being put to death and not facing the upcoming shitstorm that's about to happen. is mercy. Why do I say that? It's a form of mercy. I say that because if the Most High doesn't want you to survive, doesn't want a man to survive what's coming up next, you're not going to survive, man. Just think that it feels like I've been preparing for most of my life, basically. Which isn't saying much. Like, most of my life isn't the decades, the elders and apostles. You know, like Apostle Tahar, Roman Gabar, Elder Manatzak. The elders, like, I'm not on their level. But I'm pushing to it. Like, I don't have a big viewer base listening to me. It's not about that. It's about pushing out the truth, doing the work of the Lord, going to the chief place of the concourse, on the internet, which is YouTube, to the highways and hedges, on the streets, going on the street preaching, to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Only one last verse. I'm gonna close it there because this is typical. This is like usual scenario with furthering the people. It's like just something that's why we had a big audience. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 21. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence, for it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. So maybe Pastor Darby was a little bugging out a bit on stuff he didn't understand. Like I said earlier, you had access to the internet, I'm sure. The elders, brothers older than me in the truth and physically, they could have helped him out, but he chose not to seek it out. And the Most High, he just took him away to show him mercy. So yeah, man, that's all that needs to be said on this situation, because this is something that isn't little. This is something it could be damaging, but it won't be damaging to the elect. But yeah, man, that's it on that. Shalom.